Hey moms, how are you today? Okay, we're gonna talk about feelings. Nothing more than feelings. So, but not your feelings, your kids' feelings. And what I wanna talk to you about is how your kids will be really, really upset with you when you try to take away their good, fun food. Whether you have a 4-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 9-year-old, a 15-year-old, they're gonna hate you when you tell them they're not gonna have gluten and dairy. They're gonna hate you when you take away refined sugars. They're just gonna be so ticked off. And that's not just gonna be from the detoxing of it. That's gonna be because you're literally like ripping the rug out from underneath them. So let me just tell you something. If you see me in some of my other videos, you know that a few years ago I went off gluten and dairy, and that was transformative. And then more recently, I went off coffee, sugar, well, refined sugar, and alcohol. Every once in a while though, I'll have a glass of wine and then I totally feel it the next day. And then 2 days later, I also feel really edgy and nasty and mean while I'm detoxing that alcohol. But my point is I really have pretty much stopped having that kind of stuff because I noticed the difference in how I feel. I guess what I want you to understand is that if you try doing this yourself, you're much stronger to then implement it for your child. Not just because you've gone through it before, but actually because you see the results and you see that you are clearer thinking, not anxious, and you are no longer depressed and your moods aren't up and down all over the place and you don't wake up with anxiety. Losing words. I know a lot of women in their 30s, in their 40s, they're like, oh, I just, I don't remember like I used to. I'm losing words. You go off the garbage, words come to you just like they used to. So there's a lot of reason for you to do this. But when you do this and then you realize the benefit of it, then when you do it for your children, you're coming from a place of knowing, you're coming from a place of experience. And so when they're like, I want to have the chips, you get to say in no uncertain terms, I'm not going to give you that right now because that hurts your brain actually. Your brain is healing right now and that's not going to let your brain heal. So while your brain is healing, we're not going to have that, but we are going to have real food. So I'll make you any real food you want. Or I love, love, love the website called nourishingmeals.com. That's a website by a mom who just is gifted in cooking, which I am not. Anything you can think of, she makes it from scratch. She gives you ideas, gluten-free, dairy-free, this free, that free. So you have no excuse if you are one of those really good cooks to be able to find a recipe that would suit your needs. That being said, you can't let your children see you sweat during this. I'd rather you cry in your closet at night than let your child see that you are overwhelmed by what to feed him. You need to just in no uncertain terms, just say to them, this is what we're eating right now. We're just eating real food. Sorry, we need to eat real food. Use that phrase, real food. We're eating real food because that's what you want them to hear. You want them to hear that what they were eating before was processed. You want them to understand that what they were eating before was causing more inflammation. And until we can heal the inflammation, we're not going to keep adding more gasoline to the fire. I just need you to stay strong. Trust me, my son used to beg, plead, cry, whine, and forget it when I did it to he's now 15, but when he was 11-ish is when I did my older son on this diet. Oh, he hated me. 100% hated me. And I made him do the diet for 21 days. I said, you're giving me 21 days because I cannot stand this behavior anymore. His behaviors were different than Charlie's. He had a lot of ODD behaviors. He had ADHD focusing issues as well, but the ODD, the anger was just off the charts and I didn't want to live with him anymore. So I'm like, nope, you're mine for 21 days. And the results we saw were so miraculous. And then his eye twitching went away. He had this blinking thing going on. He had this wrist swirling. I've talked about this in other videos, but then that started going away as well. So I made him stay on the diet even longer. At this point, because he's 15, I really cannot make him eat what he should eat. To a certain extent, I can make sure that I have the right food in the house. I can definitely get on him when I start to see that his voice is going because his voice will go out and he loves to sing. And so that's one thing for him. He's like, ooh, it sounds like I have, laryngitis a little bit if I eat the bad foods. I like to tell him, listen, if you see inflammation here, there's inflammation everywhere in your brain as well. So he of course rolls his eyes and walks away, but I know he understands what I'm telling him. So the point is this, stay strong. Just know that you are doing your children a favor. There is no harm that you are doing them. If anything, giving them an anti-inflammatory diet is only helping them in the long run. Even if you can only do this for 3 months, you will see a difference. If you can do it to yourself for 21 days before you even do it to them, and you see the difference in yourself, you will definitely do it for them. Because if you're a neurotypical, or maybe you yourself have ADHD, or maybe you have anxiety or depression, when you watch the difference in yourself, when you remove the gluten, dairy, preservatives, dyes, refined sugars, the coffee, the alcohol, you cannot believe how mellow you become and how clear-headed you become. I'm serious. So never let them see you sweat, cry in your closet. I think that's pretty much it for today. You got this. You can do this, moms.